Sridhar, if I see your professional life, and this is my observation, your first phase was when you were as a professor. You were in US, you did for 5 years, and you moved back to India. You worked close to 9 years with Persistent. That should be another second phase of your life where you worked with the corporate world in India, and then there is this the third phase where I see that you become an entrepreneur. You start GS Labs with a bunch of your friends, and this is my I think that somewhere you wanted to establish a company or build a company on product based, not more on a service based, because at that time in India it was more like, okay, India was known for services based country kind of thing, but not a product based. Was that the story behind GS Lab, or how did actually this GS Lab come into picture with your friends? Can you just...
Yes, so you are absolutely right. By about 2003, start of 2003, Persistent had grown to over 500 people, and we had constructed 2 buildings, and there was a real brand. Although it was not in the same league as the software biggies back then, the company had definitely established itself, and we had invested in product lines. There were 2 product lines, one which I was managing, and we created ground up, and there was another one in the e-commerce space that Anand had started. And so at that time we talked about setting up a product business, and then I would say in hindsight wiser counsel prevailed, and the Persistent board of directors decided that the company should focus on services, particularly for software technology companies. And that was an excellent decision in hindsight, but I had an itch of building a product business, and by then actually I had grown wiser, so I have an equal amount of respect for a services business as I have for a product business. But our aspiration at GS Lab is to marry the two, because they are 2 sides of one coin. And when I was thinking of setting up a product business, my high school classmate and a fellow I shared a desk with, Sunil Gaitonde, was visiting Pune on a social purpose. And so we said, we talked about what each of us was going through professionally. And so we said, hey, let's build a different kind of a company here. And so we decided to build a lab, and so named the company a laboratory. The whole idea was we should clearly announce to people that this is a place where new things happen. We knew we were going to do software, and we also wanted to build great software. So that became the name of the company. We did not decide to build a particular product at that time, because we knew through our experiences by then that you can conceive of products and they might succeed, they might fail, and you don't want to end the company's life with the failure of, say, the first product. And so we decided right off the bat that we would set up an organization which would build multiple products. Sunil, with his serial entrepreneurship experience, in which his first company was acquired by Cisco, the second one by Intel, the network he had in the US, and his decision to settle down in the US and my decision to settle down in India, we thought we made a great combination to take on a big goal like that, which we are still pursuing to date.
Great. Your first product, KPoint Technologies, which is now a part of GS Lab, it's a video-based tool, which I was reading about it. Can you share about because video, if I see right now in the market, is quite in a demand, right? You guys started really early, right? What was that idea that, okay, we should go for video, and specifically for B2B company where this whole thing is there for training and thing? So actually, how did that idea stuck to you guys? What's the story behind that?
So actually, it was quite a road to discovery. As I said, we did not decide to build a particular product because we didn't want the company to revolve only around the founder's ideas. So we first spent time to assemble the exec team. Atul Narkade, our current CTO, member of the board at both GS Lab and KPoint, and one of the founders of KPoint Technologies. He joined our mission very early in October 2003. He accepted to join us, and then more colleagues came along on the first anniversary of the company. Wing Commander Ajit Patwardhan, who's also our high school classmate, came along to help us with all the non-technical aspects of the company's operation. And a few years later, Atul talked one of his high school classmates, Ajit Bale, to join the gang. So over a period, what we did was we decided we must begin developing intellectual property. So we created a group called IP Development. And we dedicated people, and we decided to have this, that back then the term agile was just being developed, becoming popular. So we had a very quick prototyping, quick to market, and quick failure, if that's what it ends up being, approach. And so the first idea we killed in a short period. That was in digital rights management. The second idea was carrier network authentication, which again, for a different reason, we changed. Then we said, hey, this actually is not as easy as it sounds, so let's try to solve one of our own problems. So then we said, let's build technology to solve something that we face. And one of the things that we faced was these long distance international calls were a problem. People wanted to be at home, and they still wanted to engage with customers and colleagues outside India, and the phone rates were not that low. So we decided to build an IP PBX. So we carried voice over IP and built something there. We used open source for it. India is still not deregulated in terms of voice over IP. Right. But we said we'll apply this to specific problems. Then we would apply it to the corporate setting. We brought out version 1 of the product and realized that there were 4 800-pound gorillas in the space by the time we shipped it. So we said, no, we don't want to go there. So we decided to retarget. And so we said, what can we do? So we decided that why don't we build something which has streaming in it? And so we decided to stream meetings and built a live meeting product. And then that's where we added video. And while the bandwidth is still not good enough in India, and I remember at that time I had actually spent $108 buying a single hour of meeting from WebEx to talk to a prospect. We said, hey, this market looks good, so we built something. And by the time we came out with a virtual meeting product, we realized that, again, internationally there are a few players that we will have to contend with. And so we then decided to penetrate well. We picked a vertical called and said, let's apply this to education. Live classrooms and virtual classrooms was all the rage then, because that technology was just being adopted. So we played a bit in that, but we saw go-to-market challenges in it. And so we decided to retarget it again. And we said, let's get into videos for the enterprises. And instead of focusing on live meetings, let's actually focus on what happens after the meeting. So we then began focusing on recorded streaming interactions. And that's really the form of KPoint which still exists to date. The positioning has changed a little bit. We have got closer to business applications. We decided that they are sold best in a B2B setting, and while everybody is turning out B2C applications, it might look odd that we are turning out a B2B application, but our crystal ball says that the consumerization of IT will actually help us build some consumer-oriented applications, but well integrated into the business systems. And so that's how KPoint is positioned today, as a video platform for B2B businesses.
Great. Even I was going through the website of KPoint and saw some really great clients out there. Would you like to share some experience on that, like how the market has responded, the companies have responded, and what some use cases related to the product which you want to share?
Yes, so once we decided to build something for B2B, and once we added this aspect of giving people a recording, new variants of this usage emerged. For example, creating content was a very common application. Then capturing talks where it's not really a live meeting emerged. And then various applications of that, basically to make sure that no interaction goes waste and has the potential to becoming rich media content came in. And we made sure that we took care of one of the key problems related to video and in general related to streaming media, which is unlike a page which you can look at as an overview very quickly and grasp in general what is out there. You can't do that for video or streaming media. So we wanted to give people something very easy to navigate through and very easy to grasp. So we have essentially given people a mechanism equivalent to Control F that people have in documents. If you are looking for a keyword, most people know who use computers that you type the keyword in the search box and you get the search box by typing Control F, and that way you go to the part of the document that you are interested in without going through all of it. So we have essentially given that to videos, and the idea here is that while the content is moving more and more to video, then you need to take care of giving people the ability to consume that video easily, and that's how KPoint is targeted. Another aspect that we have added is because you have a different kind of content called in the form of streaming media, you can generate a lot richer analytics about what the intentions of the viewer are. So if somebody reaches a particular point in the video because they are looking for a keyword, then you know what portion of the video is useful. This is not the same thing as landing on a video and playing it back on a public hosted site from the beginning, because everybody plays it from the beginning. So there is no insight you get on how different people are viewing the different video sections. So these are the key innovations we have in KPoint, and we are now applying it to all aspects of customer experience for a B2B business, be it Marcom, sales enablement, product training, employee to customer collaboration. All of these aspects are today handled by KPoint.
And things that you still want to get on KPoint, and the road ahead with KPoint. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, so KPoint today has some real marquee customers. A lot of MNCs who are operating out of India, although this is the only geography we have really focused our sales efforts on so far. So on the roadmap of KPoint is spreading it to other geographies of the world, starting with the US. On the roadmap also is giving people a very sharply defined, fully developed solution for a particular business function. So we are coming out with half a dozen solutions on top of KPoint, for which KPoint will be the underneath platform underlying, but the users will get something like, say, a webinar automatically chunked up and published as a web page, SEO enabled, and something that looks good. That's one application. Another application we are building is a platform for video self-service for businesses. Customer support is a problem. People like to see content visually. They need to get tools to create that content easily, share it over the internet, and then be aware of who's using it how. Employee training and customer training in your product are also key applications of the product for which we have marquee customers already, and that continues to be our bread and butter today.
Good to know that, Shridhar. Shridhar, let's move a bit about from GS Labs and KPoint, and let's look at the startup world right now. We are in India, right? Everyone is saying that it's an interesting time to start a startup, right? Since you have so much of experience and you started a company on your own, you've been an entrepreneur for such a long period. I think more than a decade now, if I'm not wrong. What's your thoughts on the current scenario in the market, and any word of advice that you would love to give to the young entrepreneurs?
Sure. I think the only advice I have is really focus on the customer and try to make sure that your early customers are representative of the market you are going after. So one of the things that I have learned is if the company is started by engineers, they tend to value engineering more than sales and marketing. But put sales and marketing first. Study the customer very closely. The product will come together and your customer will ask you to build the kind of product that will sell. So while to get credibility you want to build something, don't build too much. Start going to market very quickly. Don't focus on revenue in the beginning. Those who are associated with the company, tell them clearly what you will focus on to start with, and make sure the early team is fully balanced in different functions. That's what I would say. Not that people don't know about what I have said, but it's like swimming, right? Until you have actually started swimming, you can't say that you are able to swim, nor can you learn to swim unless you jump. And so while this is common knowledge for anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, just be aware that in practice it takes a long time to make reality.
That's a great word of advice. Shridhar, does the travel bug still bites you? Because now you have some time to roam around. What's the status on that?
Well, to tell you that the truth, the work has kept me here, and we do wish to travel again, the wife and I, when we have more complete free time on our hands. We do go around a lot within India, but we haven't really traveled outside India for a while now, aside from business.
Nice talking to you, Shridhar. We at Lighthouse wish you loads of good luck to GS Labs and KPoint Technologies, and you keep on building some great, amazing products and make India proud. Thank you very much for your time, Shridhar.
Thanks a lot, Prasad.